Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, April 6, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The catching and killing of killer whales and long-nosed dolphins in this country will be banned. This was announced in Parliament today by Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves. Dr. Gonsalves said, although it has been tradition over the years to catch whales and dolphin species for local consumption, this country, however, has obligations to which it has signed on to protect certain species which are endangered. The Prime Minister recounted an incident in Barley where he described a hard-working fisherman who had killed 2 orcas with his mounted fish gun on his boat in front of 2 boats filled with tourists who were whale watching. He said the cruise passengers were horrified by the act, and this has resulted in the Thompson Cruise Line cancelling its last call to this country. Dr. Gonsalves says such an act could cost the country some $250,000 in aggregate.
And in full view of these tourists, killed 2 of them. And they took the photographs, they've gone viral. And as a result, the minister informed me yesterday morning, that Thompsons have indicated that the cruise either is for Tuesday next week or the following Tuesday, the last one for the season. They have cancelled it. Now, I just want everybody to realize, look, we have the head tax for these 1,800 people, the money for the port, for the cruise ship pair, because we have to pay the debt for the cruise ship pair, the money. The people who buy their vehicles to take these to take the tourists go all about. Those like Hasikora or the land cruisers, the people to take them also on land tours. Money at the botanic gardens, propagating the goodwill of the people, the sea tours. All of the money which is the actual money to be collected on a cruise throughout the economy would be certainly over $250,000 when you net it off. It would be less than that. But when you collect it in the aggregate, what it will contribute.
The Prime Minister pointed out that Cabinet took the decision yesterday to have the legislation enacted, which also demonstrates the government's seriousness about the issue.
Can't allow this thing to continue. So yesterday, the Cabinet took a decision in line with our international obligations. We took a decision to ban the capture and the killing of the orca and also the flipper, the long-nosed dolphin. The blackfish industry can continue to harvest the traditional pilot whale. And I think a particular species of the porpoise. And we are going to bring legislation. The Attorney General has been instructed by the Cabinet to see whether the legislation can be brought through a statutory rule and order, and therefore we'll do it immediately, or whether we have to come to Parliament with a statute, with a bill on the 18th of May when we reassemble here in the Parliament. But I have to speak to this in the Parliament so that the hotel operator, the people in the tourism business and the cruise business, all the businesses, all the operators will know that the government has responded very promptly and that we have to take a stance in this.
The leader of this country, however, denied accusations that the move was his government's way of stopping the traditional killing of the blackfish or the short-fin pilot whale.
Ralph, them want to kill the blackfish industry. It's not that, not at all. The blackfish industry is there. In fact, we have in the estimates a project under the Basic Needs Trust Fund, which is going to be rolled out this year. The preparatory work is being done. The Minister of Foreign Affairs has been pushing this through because it's his constituency, and so to the Minister of Economic Development, under whom the Basic Needs Trust Fund of the Caribbean Development Bank falls. Pushing this thing. And also in the case of the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, who's directly responsible in relation to the Blackfish. And we want this facility to be a modern, hygienic facility to prepare, preserve, to process the Blackfish, but which could be the traditional short-fin pilot whale.
And coordinator of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Preservation Fund, Louise Mitchell-Joseph, has said the decision by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to implement a ban on the hunting and killing of killer whales or orcas and flipper dolphins is a step in the right direction. Mitchell-Joseph stated that SVG made a commitment in 1994 to protect and preserve such marine species and is pleased that more is being done to preserve these unique marine creatures. She further added that the decision by the government also goes a long way in promoting SVG as an eco-friendly tourism destination.
So I'm very pleased to see that the government is now moving to actually enforce such protection. And I would like to say that I think it would be great for the tourism industry for St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we can now say that we protect these special marine mammals. As you would have heard recently when there was a shooting of the baby killer whale in front of some whale watching tours who were guests of a cruise ship, it's really led to an international outcry. And so the nation is now seeing what I have been saying for some time, and that is that the unregulated manner in which we have been killing these species for years, it does not really complement the tourism image of an eco-friendly destination that we've been trying to push. So it now to the nation, I think it finally makes economic sense that we move towards conservation. So I'm very, very pleased with the decision of the government.
The Preservation Fund coordinator added that enforcement of laws is also key in the protection of marine life and expressed hope that the government continues on the path it has taken in relation to marine preservation.
There's nothing more powerful than actions, actually doing things. And as you say, it's not just about passing the laws, but we then have to have enforcement. So, for example, we have protection of turtles, but then will we have the enforcement mechanism? So when the government not just says things but acts, and I think passing legislation to have a total ban is a very clear act of goodwill in terms of making sure that this is actually going to happen, that it's not just being spoken as policy. So I think the government is definitely doing a lot to show that it is pro-conservation, and I hope that it continues to go in that direction. I don't think societies can change overnight, and I think sometimes they need time to adjust to new things and for there to be education about conservation. So it is a gradual process, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
Mitchell-Joseph also noted that education is key if one is going to convince fisherfolk that whale watching is of more importance than whale hunting.
I believe, education is power, and I think if there are enough educational initiatives to show to the fishermen that there's another way of doing things and there's another alternative that could actually get you more money. Around the world, the persons that have really become big whale watching businesses, many of them have started out as fishermen. So there's no reason why the same can't happen here. It would be a shame to me to see that just the big companies go and get into whale watching, whereas the fishermen, who are the ones who actually know these whales better than anyone else, that they lose the opportunity to do so. So I hope that they would take the initiative, one or two of them, and refurbish their boats and decide, you know what, I'm going to go and try whale watching. And they don't have to do it as their only activity. It can supplement their fishing income. So they can do both.
Come Friday, April 14th, Caribbean Airlines will begin regular scheduled flights into this country. In Parliament today, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves announced that flights will be coming twice weekly, Fridays and Sundays from Trinidad to St. Vincent.
A twice weekly service for the Spain, St. Vincent and the Grenadines return to make timely and appropriate connections to other destinations, particularly in North America. And the advertised price is quite competitive, $113 US one way. So that's $226 US. That's just slightly over $600 as compared, I think, to what, $1,000 or thereabouts usually. So that's going to be a very interesting addition. And because of the AIA, Mr. Speaker, the Argyle International Airport, we do not have the challenges as we had at E.T. Joshua regarding the wind, which tended to, on an annualized basis, stop about 20% of the flights or affect them adversely in reducing their payload and the like. So I think that's a very important development.
Minister of Tourism and Culture Cecil Mackey says that this country has been fairly successful with negotiations to get international airlines to come into this country. Mackey, who was answering a question posed to him by opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday in Parliament today, as to the status of international flights coming to this country, said that he does not want to be hasty in revealing the outcome of negotiations.
Intensified these discussions, and in fact we have made it our business to journey to the cities in which we hope to do business. That is New York, also Florida, Miami. Recently we went to Canada, and we are also very shortly will be going to the United Kingdom to finalize discussions in this regard. We have been fairly successful with these discussions and negotiations, but I think that we are all aware of the fact that we cannot be premature in terms of our announcement of airlines coming to the destination, whether it be regular flights or otherwise. We have to make sure that we dot the I's and cross the T's, and that is exactly what we're doing. Very shortly, we'll be able to announce our arrangements with airlines, charters, and otherwise for persons coming to the destination for Carnival. And we are also finalizing discussions for October, when it's the month of independence, when we want to have some very special activities, as well as December for our 9 Mornings activities.
Minister Mackey said although the government is leading the way in organizing chartered flights, he made a call for the private sector to also put together their own chartered flights into this country.
We are actually in discussion with various private entities, because preferably we would like such arrangements to be organized by private entities, but they also recognize the challenges and the difficulty first to get aircraft, and also the cost that these aircraft come at. And so therefore we are working closely with them to see if we can collaborate in any way, if we can offer support in any way. But as it is now, the ministry is basically leading the charge in really getting these charters in place. And as I indicated, successfully, and we should be making the announcement soon. But we welcome private entity to organize charters of their own.
While conceding that the chartered flights which landed at the Argyle International Airport on opening day, February 14, 2017, operated at a loss, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves on radio earlier this week said having the flights coming here was an important part of promoting the country as a tourism destination. PM Gonsalves noted that it takes much more than placing an ad on television or through other media outlets to promote a destination.
Point is this: the charters were done, and when you do charters also for Carnival, you'll try as best as possible to have the charters come close to break even. But the charters which we did were part of tourism promotion. Yeah, promote the destination. I mean, I don't understand people, you know. They say must promote the destination, but it's not. You don't promote the destination only by putting an ad on TV, you know. It's promoted in different ways.
Speaking in relation to comments made by CEO of the local tourism authority, Glen Beach, who suggested that he has had a hard time in securing scheduled flights to SVG at this time, PM Gonsalves said Beach on many occasions spoke out of turn, adding that Beach's comments could have a negative effect.
In due course, there's discussions with a number of airlines. You see, a lot of times, when you're discussing things with different airlines, one of the problems, and also I tell Glenn too, he often speaks out of turn. If something is not definite, you ask him a question, he must answer the way I've answered. That there's discussion going on. He might be hopeful, there are some challenges, but don't say something which is either going to raise people's hopes, and then they come back, and when it pins you, you then turn negative.
Throughout the month of April, Vincentians will benefit from free primary health care services being provided by a team of 25 Adventist health professionals and volunteers. The SVG mission of Seventh-day Adventists is coordinating the mission with support from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. At a media conference held on Monday, April 3rd, the SDA mission officially presented the missionary team as well as shared their expectations for the month of activities. Nikita Tony has more in this report.
Keeping in mind their belief of holistic health, which involves ministering to the physical, mental, spiritual, and social components of human needs, the SVG mission of Seventh-day Adventists has collaborated with the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and the Environment to provide primary healthcare services throughout the month of April here in SVG. The team of 25, which consists of volunteers and health professionals, including nursing practitioners from the United Kingdom, will carry out a series of health screening as well as activities and sessions such as a Children Health Expo. Highlighting the readiness and dedication of the team, President of the SVG mission, Pastor Dermot Batiste, expressed the mission's elation to contribute to the country's healthcare sector. He also thanked the transnational health team, which is based in the UK, for extending their missionary work to SVG.
Restoration entails ministering to all four components of man's fallen nature. And they are here to provide primary health care service, not only to members of the Seventh-day Church, but to the wider community as well.
Leader of the transnational health team, Sister Barbara Carruth-Louison, a Vincentian national, noted that she was indeed proud to be giving back to her country. She outlined some of the programs which will be carried out by the team.
I'll be taking part in the health screening program and the food distribution program, and also distributing school bags and materials to the schools, some of the schools around St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And various health professionals around us, and they are going to contribute their skills as well.
Health educator Sister Elsie Staple, who is also a member of the team, outlined the importance of persons staying informed on how to take control of their health.
Our aim here is to encourage people to take responsibility for their health by educating them, helping them to change their attitude, empowering and giving them the necessary skills. Also, every evening we'll not only catering for this physical aspect, we'll be catering for the spiritual aspect. It is an holistic approach, and therefore we will be having some evening programs, and every evening a health presentation will be given. We're looking at men's health, women's health, and when I talk about men's health, we're talking about things like prostate, we're talking about things like male menopause, big jumps, and then for the couples we'll be doing the good stuff.
Speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Communications Officer Nika Anderson-Isaacs expressed gratitude to the mission for seeing it fit to embark on such a great initiative.
The Ministry of Health has been pushing that that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has seen it fit to step up to the challenge of taking their shared responsibility seriously, especially as it relates to the heart and the health and wellness of our nation. We're truly grateful, and we accept this collaboration with much humility, and we just encourage you to continue to do such good work.
Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
The issue of depression was dealt with today at a symposium held at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. The event, hosted by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, is part of activities to commemorate World Health Day, which will be observed here tomorrow, Friday, April 7th. Chief Health Promotions Officer Patsy Wiley said the event today at the Community College proved to be successful as students were very receptive to the information disseminated. Nolisha Miller tells us more in this report.
In an effort to address health issues affecting the society, this year the World Health Organization is focusing on depression in commemoration of World Health Day, which will be observed tomorrow, Friday, April 7th. Keeping in tune with the annual occasion, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment earlier today held a symposium which featured several professionals speaking on various aspects of depression, how it affects individuals, and ways in which persons should respond to it. Posing the widely asked question, does the misuse of alcohol causes depression, or does depression causes people to drink? Senior Nursing Officer Diane Bailey explained that alcohol is a dependent and noted that any amount consumed can cause an individual to become more depressed.
There is a strong link between serious alcohol use and depression. Regular drinking may lead to depression, and depressed people are more likely to drink too much. According to the research, children who are depressed are more likely to have problems with alcohol as they get older. Women are more than likely twice to start drinking heavily if they have a history of depression.
Bailey concluded that it is not clear whether depression causes one to drink or vice versa, but warned that alcohol abuse and depression are both serious problems that should not be ignored. Registrar of Psychiatry at the Mental Health Facility, Dr. Karen Providence, elaborated on the physiology and medical perspective of depression and highlighted the sensitivity of its effects. She further urged persons to educate themselves in an effort to identify the illness.
This isn't about just sensitization. We want you to be aware so you can check yourself, speak to your friends, your relatives, and help to identify persons who might be suffering from this condition so we can lessen the prevalence of that condition in our society, help people to seek treatment early, and lower the risk for suicidal behavior.
Speaking on the manifestation of the condition, trained psychologist and counselor Elika Matthews outlined the signs and symptoms of depression, which she says range from sadness to hopelessness and loss of interest in the things once enjoyed.
So you feel continuously low or in a sad mood, feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. You have low self-esteem. You feel tearful. You feel generally guilt-ridden. You have feelings of irritability or intolerance towards others. You have no motivation or interest in doing things. You have difficulty making decisions. You don't get any enjoyment out of the things that you enjoy doing in life. You feel worried and anxious. And you have suicidal thoughts or thoughts of harming yourself.
Highlighting the severity of the illness, psychologist Dr. Giselle Miller stated that it is of vital importance that family and friends learn the art of showing compassion to those suffering from depression.
One of the things that family members need to do is to invest time in their family members. A lot of the times when persons are diagnosed with any illness, you realize that family members suddenly get extremely busy. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not difficult sometimes when you have to deal with someone with an illness. But at the same time, there is no better help than a family member. Okay? It requires patience. It requires concern that you have to invest the effort, all right? You have to take the initiative to learn about the illness or learn about depression. You have to be able to be there for them, because as you realize with depression, some persons get very, it's not lazy, but because they are fatigued, because they are unable to, push themselves to get certain tasks done. As family members, you have to step in and fill the gaps.
World Health Day is celebrated annually on April 7th. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.